And Scotland, story of the season with Hearts at the top of the league. And the boys from the capital are rocking the Old Firm. As far into this then, going to look ahead at Arsenal, Man City and Villa's next 3 fixtures here for this video. Title race is heating up a little bit. We'll do the same in Scotland with Hearts and Celtic as the main part of the video, and then weekend predictions video will be different, and that'll come out on Boxing Day before the games kick off for that. So let's dive into it. Let's have a look at the league table to start with. Arsenal, we know, sit on top, 39 points. City have got that 2-point gap on them just behind, and Aston Villa very much keep it up with both of those guys on 36 points sitting in third place. And then we have a gap of 7 points between Aston Villa and Chelsea. So a little bit of a gap started to open up between the three. Kind of thought that would be the case for this season. Probably thought it would be Arsenal, City and Liverpool, but Villa have got themselves in there, so we'll see if they end up finishing like that. So let's start with the league leaders' next few fixtures. But it's 3 home games in a row for them. They play Brighton next in the league on the 27th. They then have Villa at home, which is going to be a very interesting one, obviously depending on how that first game goes. They've got Bournemouth away on the 3rd before they finish up with Liverpool at home before we then hit into that little FA Cup break there. So that is an interesting 4 games for Arsenal, but 3 of them are at home, which gives them a huge advantage. Not going to go with the Palace game. We're just going to stick with the league games. Home to Brighton, I think they'll beat Brighton. I think they will. I think they'll take 3 points up there. Villa's the massive one. Villa's going to be the one that's the most interesting. Villa, what are they, 10 in a row right now? I think they're 10 in a row, wins in the last 10. Certainly 5 in a row here based on their form. Scored 27, conceded 18. So they're up in that mix there with scoring the same amount of goals as Arsenal with the conceding there. That's an interesting one. I think Arsenal, again, for title races, they need to win these types of games. They need to go on and get points in there. I did say in the other video that I think that they're not always the games that get you league titles, but I think that when they come around at these moments, it's a chance to put a side that are potentially challenging with you and against you for the league. It's a chance to put them away and get an even bigger gap on them. So I think Arsenal have to go there and win that one. I think they will do. I think they'll beat Aston Villa on that. I think it might be a little 2-1er in there, but I do think they'll beat Villa. Away to Bournemouth, who have been very, very poor. Bournemouth, someone to talk about that have just been extremely poor, should be doing a lot better. I mean, I know the league is tight. If we just quickly look at the league table, where they sit now, Bournemouth, I mean, they're all the way down in 15th. It's only 22 points, so they're only 2 points off of Brighton, right, who sit in 9th place in 24, and 9th place would be about where you would expect or want Bournemouth to finish. I think they should be challenging to get into the Europa League places, but just not been a great run of form, so it's one Arsenal should really go to the Vitality Stadium and win before they finish up just 5 days later with a game at home to Liverpool, who have started to pick up form. Liverpool obviously beat them at Anfield. It's a massive one to finish off with for Arsenal. So I think if I'm going to go through the points here with them, I think they'll beat Brighton. That'll be 3. I think they'll beat Aston Villa at home. I think that'll be 6. I do think they'll beat Bournemouth away. That'll be 9. And then it comes to Liverpool. I mean, Arsenal are just a lot better than Liverpool at the moment, aren't they? I think Arsenal will win all of those. I think Arsenal will win 4 from 4, so I think they'll get 12 points in total out of it, which is going to be a big asking point for City, who we'll get on to now to have a little look. They are coming up against Nottingham Forest away. They're the 12:30 game on the 27th. They then play Sunderland away. They then got Chelsea at home and then Brighton at home before that FA Cup break comes in. So Forest away, I think the form that City are in right now, it's a Sean Dyche team. It's not an easy place to go. We know that, but I do still think Man City will go there and get that win. Sunderland away, I thought Sunderland was going to be a lot more of a difficult test for Man City, even being at home. Missing a couple of players in AFCON, Sunderland. I know they get the draw against Brighton. I think City will have too much of them. I think that'll be 2 from 2 there for City with 6 points. Chelsea typically can and will show up against them here. This is on the 4th of January. It's a great game on a Sunday at 5:30 to kind of finish off those New Year, Christmas festivities, unfortunately, before getting into that really terrible time of year in January. Tough one, but it is a home game, right? And then they finish it off with Brighton at home, which I expect them to win there. So that's 9. Can City go and match Arsenal and get all 12 and beat Chelsea? Yeah, I think they'll take 12 from 12 here. I do. I think they'll take 12 from 12 as well. So everything will stay the same there between those guys. If we look at Villa, it's a really, really tough next 2 games. It's Chelsea away and it's Arsenal away, right? And this is really going to be the test of where Aston Villa are. I think they get a point out of those. Obviously, I think they get beat by Arsenal. I think they'll take a point at Stamford Bridge there. I do think they'll get beat by Arsenal at the Emirates on the 30th. Hell of a game that. Looking forward to that one as well. And even Saturday, 27th, I'm working. Damn. But I'm working in a pub, so hopefully that game will be on. A point from those two. I think a point away at Stamford Bridge. I think they lose to Arsenal. This is a real test, though, now for Villa. Like, if you want to be in the mix and you're going to be within any discussion, can you go and do something in these two games there? It's at home to Forest. I'd expect them to win, but again, could form start to dip for them there if they do lose that Arsenal game? You hit a bit of a rut. I don't see Villa keeping it up, right? So we'll see how they go from there. But I still think they'll beat Nottingham Forest there. And then Palace away. Clean sheets aren't quite good enough as of yet. So we'll see how Palace end up there. But I think out of that, so we'll take a point from Chelsea, lose to Arsenal, beat Villa, that's 4. Away to Palace. Go on, I'll just want to keep Villa in the race. I think they'll win. So what's that? 3-6. So I think Villa will get 7 points from these next games. So it would really cut them adrift from Arsenal and City if they both get 12. And that would kind of solidify them as the 2 there, which I absolutely think they could. Just quickly, I touched on Bournemouth, obviously. Have a quick little look at the bottom of the league table because it's something you don't focus on as much, right? Wolves look just completely beaten. Watch a match of the day with their results at the weekend. They just look completely done. They're completely beaten. I think they're as good as gone. Burnley, who started off really well but are now just starting to get down there, sitting on 11 points. West Ham, who I think are starting to look up and thinking, oh no, we're in a bit of trouble here, sitting on 13 points. 5 gap between them and Nottingham Forest and a 6 gap between them and Leeds United. So I think really from Leeds, Forest, West Ham, Burnley and Wolves will be all the teams that are fighting in there. Like I say, I think Wolves are as good as gone. I don't expect Bournemouth to get pulled into it. You look at Spurs, who are back down there as well in 14th place. Like, it's not been good for them. I thought Thomas Frank would do a lot better. And then you've got your likes of Fulham and Brentford, who 13th and 12th probably look to finish in roughly that type of position. So West Ham need to be looking to try and catch Forest and Leeds here over these next kind of 3 games over this festive period, or else they could really be cut adrift and be in a big bit of trouble. Scotland. Just very quickly, got about 4 minutes left on this memory card, trying to rattle this through. We know Hearts at top of the league. It's between them and Celtic. They've got Hibs away on the 27th. Hell of a game. Big one for the derby. I think Hearts are going to come through that. I just think they're in a vein of form here. I think Hearts will win. It's then Livy at home on the 3rd. I do think Hearts will then go and beat them there, and then we have a little bit of a gap to 11. So I think Hearts are taking 6 from the next 2 games. If we have a quick look at Celtic, it's Livy away and Motherwell away. I think they'll beat Livy away, Celtic, and I actually think they will drop points to Motherwell. I think they'll draw. So I think Celtic will get 4 out of these next 2 games, right? So Hearts, if we're getting the 6 points, if we have a little look at the league table, what does that take Hearts to? 47. Celtic would get 4, would take them to 39. So it would give Hearts an 8-point gap. Celtic would still have a game in hand, but that's a nice cushy cushion there for Hearts. What a season it's been for them. It's been absolutely amazing. It really has been. I've been loving the Scottish League. It's been the most exciting and the most interesting one there. Shanklin's got the most goals up there with Braga. Motherwell have 5 points off of Celtic now, have leapfrogged Rangers, and I think should be getting a lot of credit for what they're doing there. When I see the highlights and stuff, they play good football. 26 goals. They've scored a lot more than I thought. They've kept a lot of clean sheets. It's one more goal, or not kept a lot of clean sheets. Not conceded too many goals. It's only one more than Celtic and Hearts are ahead of them. So it's been a terrific performance from Motherwell, and the rest of the league hasn't been too bad either. With likes of Falkirk and Dundee United who are down there. St Mirren win the cup, obviously, and then I think you start to get into like Dundee, Kilmarnock, and Livy, who are maybe 3 kind of towards the bottom, but still not easy games. So it's been an interesting league. I'm going to do predictions. That'll be out on Boxing Day. But just a quick little video just looking ahead at the title races in both leagues. See where the next kind of couple of games are at to finish out with the year. It's been a hell of a season so far in both leagues. The Premier League's been chaotic. It's been crazy. Certainly in that middle pack of the table, we're starting to see 2 or 3 cut adrift. And Scotland, story of the season with Hearts at the top of the league. And the boys from the capital are rocking the Old Firm. Have a good Christmas, everyone. And until the next one, have a good one. Peace.